Welcome to the fourth part of my videos, that is the unit solutions. In this video I am going to discuss about the concepts of binary solution, Raoult's law, ideal and non-ideal solutions today. Before understanding anything, we must know or recall what is vapor pressure of a liquid. Imagine there is a beaker and I have taken a liquid A in this. Liquid A on its own by nature evaporates. The molecules of A have formed vapors here, and these vapor, they exert a pressure on the surface of liquid A, and that pressure exerted on the surface P naught is called vapor pressure of liquid. So this is the pure vapor pressure of pure liquid A. This is vapor pressure. Further, let's go on to discuss what is binary solution. A binary solution is a mixture of two components. A homogeneous mixture of two components will be called a binary solution. Simply a solution. These are two types of the binary solution. One is liquid in liquid, another is solid in liquid. These are the two types of binary solutions we have considered. Gas in liquid we have studied in our previous video already. Please check that once again for the review. Now, liquid in liquid case, if I say, there are two liquids A and B. These two are miscible with each other. Miscible, when I say, they uniformly mix. They form a homogeneous mixture. So A and B have formed a homogeneous mixture. Both the liquids, imagine both the liquids are volatile. Volatile means they are highly evaporative. That means in this mixture, both A and B are volatile. A evaporates to form the vapors of A here. You can see the blue dots here from the blue liquid A. And red colored B liquid evaporates, and the dots red indicate the vapors of B liquid. So there are both the vapors in this state. Both the vapors of A and B are here. Together they start exerting a pressure on this liquid, and that pressure will be called the vapor pressure of the binary solution AB. Anyways, in this case, the total pressure exerted, P total, according to the Dalton's law, it says P total is equal to P of, this is B, plus P of A. Partial pressure of B plus partial pressure of A. What is partial pressure then? In this case, the pressure exerted by one component out of the entire vapor collected over the surface is the partial pressure. Partial pressure we say whenever there is a mixture. If it is a single component like this, a single liquid, we just say vapor pressure. In case of a binary solution, we say partial vapor pressure. So PA is the partial vapor pressure of A, PB is the partial vapor pressure of liquid B. So this is the case of liquid in liquid. In case of solid in liquid, this is a different case where A is the only liquid which is volatile, which evaporates and forms the vapors. They exert a pressure on the solution, solvent. To this solvent, if I add a solid B, since this is a solid, it dissolves in A and distributes uniformly throughout the bulk. Like this. So the particles of B have dispersed throughout the medium A as well as at the surface. So now, when the particles of B are present at the surface, the molecules of A are not so free to escape. Since they are not so easy to escape, the amount of vapor collected over the surface will be reduced. There will be decrease of the vapors collected above the surface because of the presence of solid B. This is the decrease of vapor pressure when a solid is added into a volatile liquid. So these are the two cases of binary solutions that we must basically understand first, so that we can continue this concept towards Raoult's law, understanding Raoult's law. Okay, liquid in liquid, solid in liquid. I quickly revise once again. Please look at this. A is one liquid, B is one liquid. Together, these two make a solution, and both the liquids evaporate to form vapor. that vapor exerts a pressure which is total vapor pressure of both A and B, where it is given as sum of the partial pressures of individual components. Sum of the partial pressures of individual components. Whereas in case of solid and liquid, imagine there is only A which is a liquid, B is a solid. Earlier A had evaporated to collect some vapor here which used to exert a pressure PA naught. Why PA naught? Because I told you this is a pure value. I mean the value of pure component. So PA naught was the vapor pressure. Now upon adding a solid B, since it distributed throughout the solvent A, there was a decrease in the vapor pressure. Evaporation decreases. The particles of B hold the molecules and they do not allow molecules of A to evaporate easily. In such case, there will be decrease of the vapor pressure, and now for the solution, the vapor pressure will be simply PA. It was PA naught. Now it is PA, and it is very clear PA is lesser than PA naught. There is a decrease in the vapor pressure. Now let us see what is Raoult's law. To understand that, once again please observe this diagram where I have two liquids A and B. A and B together have evaporated and vapors are collected here. They exert a pressure which is the total vapor pressure that we have understood just now. According to Raoult's law, which gives a quantitative relationship between the partial pressure and the mole fraction of individual component in the solution. According to that law, the statement says the partial vapor pressure of a component in a binary solution is directly proportional to its mole fraction in the solution at constant temperature. Of course, the temperature constant is required for the statement. Partial vapor pressure of a component. I have got two components here, A and B. How much vapor are collected above the surface of this mixture from A only and how much from B only is given clearly by Raoult's law. That is the quantitative relationship given by Raoult's law. According to this statement, mathematically we may write like this. PA, partial pressure of A, I have not written P naught A here, please remember this is PA. This we write whenever it is in a solution. If I write a P naught A there, it means it is pure component. Okay, this is not pure component. I have got two components here. So PA is directly proportional to XA, that is mole fraction of A. PB is directly proportional to XB. Seems to be very simple statement here, right? Very simple statements are here. PA is proportional to XA, PB is proportional to XB. Now if you want to convert this into an equation, it's very simple again. Introduce a constant and that constant will be PA naught XA, and for the component B, PB is equal to PB naught XB, and these are the equations of Raoult's law of a binary solution mixture. These are the equations required to relate quantitatively the partial pressure and the mole fraction of individual component. Now let's see what is the total vapor pressure of a binary solution. P total is equal to PA plus PB. This we have seen in the diagram earlier. Now PA can be written as P naught A XA plus P naught B XB. This is one expression to calculate the total vapor pressure of a binary solution. You may come across many times numerical problems asked in different competitive exams based on this equation, where they will provide you the mole fraction of one component, using which you may calculate easily the mole fraction of other component, because you know very well XA plus XB is equal to 1. Likewise, we calculate these two values, we find the values. One of these two would be given and the other would be a question. Of course, one component will be a question and rest all concepts, values they will provide in the question. So please remember this equation, it's very important. Total pressure, total vapor pressure of a binary solution is the sum of the product of partial pressure of pure component and its mole fraction in the solution. Okay, that is the expression. Now let me continue a little bit for our calculation purposes. P total can be written as P naught A into 1 minus XB plus P naught B into XB. I don't think anything is wrong here because XA plus XB is equal to 1. This we have understood earlier. Sum of the mole fractions of the components in a mixture is equal to 1 always. So, if I further simplify this, it is going to be P naught A. P naught A into 1 is P naught A. I will take from this term now plus XB I will keep common factor into PB naught minus PA naught. If you are quick in mathematics, you will easily understand how I did this, right? Because multiply these two terms, you will get PA naught here, PA naught XB, minus is there, which I have taken here, minus PA naught XB, PB naught XB, it is here only. So this is the expression, and I want you to compare this expression with the well-known expression y is equal to mx plus c. This expression we have seen in mathematics. Y is equal to mx plus c. And the equation represents what? It represents the equation of straight line. Equation of straight line in slope-intercept form, where m is the slope and c is the intercept. Using this concept, if you remember the graphical representations, I'll show you. Y equal to mx plus c can be drawn like this. There is a y-axis, there is x-axis, and of course there is an intercept c. Let us say this is the intercept c and the slope is m. That means it must be a positive slope. So the line must be sloping upward like this. This is the graphical representation of y equal to mx plus c. Similar to this, I can apply this to my equation where Pt can be compared with the y, Pa naught can be compared with the intercept, xb is again x-axis, pb naught minus Pa naught. And here is the point actually. If at all pb naught is greater than Pa naught, you will have the value positive, which means you will get a line sloping upward. If at all Pa naught is greater and pb naught is lesser, you will get a negative slope, which means the line will slope downward. So depending upon the volatility of A and B, you may find whether there is a decrease in the total vapor pressure happening or increase in the total vapor pressure happening. That we will see in the graphical representation after this. Let's see what is the graphical representation of the equation which we derived just now. The total vapor pressure is equal to Pa naught plus xb into Pb naught minus Pa naught. This is the expression which is similar to y is equal to mx plus c, just now we discussed. I will consider certain cases like this. I have chosen some 6 different cases where all the beakers are of same size and the total volume, let us assume some 100 ml. Total volume is 100 ml. In first case, number 1, I have chosen completely the liquid one, that is A. In first beaker, I have 100 ml of only A. In second beaker, I have made a difference here. In this second beaker, I have about 80 ml of A and 20 ml of B. 80 ml of A, 20 ml of B. That means I have made a binary solution in this case. I have added another liquid into this. In third case, let us vary this again. 3, 4, 5, 6. I have taken some 6 examples here. In third case, let's say 50 ml A, 50 ml B are there. That is equal proportions. In fourth case, say 20 or 30 ml of A and 70 ml of B. Slowly, gradually, I am decreasing the amounts of A in each case. In every increment, I am decreasing the amounts of A and increasing the amount of B. In first case, B was 0. In second case, some 20 ml. In third case, 50 ml. In fourth case, 70 ml. In the fifth case, 90 ml. And in sixth case, completely B. So, in one direction, I am decreasing A and in the other direction I'm increasing B. In the graphical representation, if I consider, let us say like this. Component A, XA, has a fraction of 1, that is 100% in first case. At that point, the fraction of B was 0. Please understand this. At this point, that is origin, I am considering the first case where A is 100% full and B is 0. So XB is 0. As you move along this mole fraction axis, you will end up at a stage where XA has become 0 here. In the case 6, I don't have any component A here. XA is 0. Whereas XB has reached 100%. That is 1. So this is the graph where along y-axis I have taken vapor pressure and along x-axis I have taken mole fraction. Now use this expression. PA0 plus XB into PB0 minus PA0. Initially when XA is 1, the vapor pressure of this component will be maximum. This I call PA0. As you move along this direction, as I said, when there is a difference, negative, it will decrease. That means I will get a line, straight line, sloping downward like this. As it reaches 0, the line also reaches 0 because the component becomes 0. Whereas in case of B, XB is 1, it was 0 here. And as you increase the amounts of B in each case, it increased and reached the highest value. Let us call this as PB0. So it reached the vapor pressure of PB0. And now to know what is the total pressure at any given mole fraction, you have to join these 2 points, the top points PA0 and PB0, to know what is the total pressure at any given composition. Okay, this line represents the P total given by the sum of PA and PB. This gives you the value of PA only and this gives you the values of PB only. This is the graphical representation of variation of vapor pressure with respect to the mole fraction according to Raoult's law. This is a system which ideally obeys Raoult's law. Based on this property, we classify the binary solutions into 2 categories. One is ideal solutions. They obey Raoult's law over the entire composition from 0 to 1, from 1 to 0. They obey over entire composition. Such a solution mixture is an ideal solution. If they do not obey, if they deviate from this, they are called non-ideal solutions. Under non-ideal again, we have 2 types and those 2 types we will see just in a moment. Now let's see what are ideal and non-ideal solutions. An ideal solution is the one which obeys Raoult's law over the entire compositions. The entire compositions of components. At all compositions, the Raoult's law will be obeyed. That means in my previous graph, the line was a straight line. The resultant line was a straight line. If that is a straight line, it means it is according to the equation of straight line, which means it is obeying Raoult's law in turn. Whereas non-ideal solutions are those which do not obey over entire range. It doesn't mean they do not obey at all conditions. Maybe under certain conditions they do not obey the Raoult's law. Okay, do not obey Raoult's law. Such solutions are called non-ideal solutions. I would like to give you very simple example which you may easily understand. Let's say water solvent is mixed with milk, water plus milk. Of course, these are all not ideal example cases. I'm just giving you example to understand, make you understand this. Water plus milk. The second case I will consider water plus some vegetable oil. And the third case, I would say water plus some mineral acid and an acid. Okay. In these three cases, you may clearly identify the difference. In first case, so simple that water and milk, they mix up easily without any problem. There is no problem at all. You can easily mix water into milk or milk into water. The solution will be like an ideal solution. Okay, I'm saying this is not exactly ideal solution. Just to understand, I'm saying water plus milk. Let's observe, consider this as an ideal solution. Whereas in these two cases there are deviations. Water plus oil, these two, they do not mix only. They do not form a uniform mixture at all. Such a mixture will be called a non-ideal positive deviation. Why positive deviation? We will see in graphs. This is non-ideal positive deviation. In case of water plus acid, it is a non-ideal again. Non-ideal negative deviation. Why negative deviation? Even that we will see in the graphical representation. Now I am going to consider three types of solutions. Okay, one is ideal solution, another is non-ideal positive, another is non-ideal negative. Why this is called positive, why this is called negative, you will understand when you look at the graph. Okay, have a look at the graph now. Now have a look at these three graphs. In first case, of course, the scales are very same. Along y-axis, we have in all the graphs given vapor pressure, and then along x-axis in all the graphs it is same, that is mole fraction. So I am not going to write in all the graphs here, it's understood. Vapor pressure versus mole fraction we have got. In all the cases again, XA is 0 on leftmost side and XA is 1 on rightmost side. XB is 1 on leftmost side and XB is 0 on rightmost side. Like this, there are three graphs. In first case, as I mentioned earlier, let us assume this is a mixture of water and milk, where the miscibility is very good. They have a good combination. In such case, the ideal solution, we call it. The solution can be called as an ideal solution because there is a mixing of these two components uniformly with no disturbance at all. When I say no disturbance, it means A and A have a force of attraction in the liquid state. B and B have a force of attraction in the liquid state separately. When I mix these two together, when A and B are mixed together, even A and B have a force of attraction almost equal to that of both these. If the intermolecular force of attraction between the two components in a binary solution is equal to or almost equal to the force of attraction in the individual components, we call such a solution as an ideal solution, where you get the graph like this. There will be a straight line. Whereas in this case, I was telling you, this can be an example like water plus oil. When you mix oil with water, they do not want to stay together. Oil and water have no affection at all. They want to go away from each other. When such a tendency is present, their evaporation extent also increases. They want to escape. Oil molecules don't want to stay with water, they want to escape. Water molecules don't want to stay with oil, they want to escape. In such case, what happens to the evaporation? Look at the elevation in these graphs. There was a straight line here in the first graph, but there is an elevation. There was a straight line in this graph, there is an elevation, and therefore the resultant also has an elevation. So this elevation from the normal ideal behavior, you can see in the graph here, there is an increase from the expected. This line is expected answer, but there is an increase in the answer, which means this solution is showing some increased tendency, which we call positive deviation. Since there is an increase in the vapor pressure, there is an increase in the resultant vapor pressure, therefore we call it as positive deviation. I hope you got the answer why we call it as positive deviation. Now the last one, in this case again, I have a mixture of two components, that is water mixed with some acid, I said. Let's say it is HCl, hydrochloric acid. HCl and water, they form a very strong intermolecular hydrogen bondings. When they form hydrogen bondings, they fit together in such a manner that inside the mixture, the force of attraction is greater than individual components. As we seen here, A has attraction, B has attraction separately. When you mix together, AB will be stronger than both A and B. Mixture has a stronger intermolecular force of attraction than individual components. In such case, we call this solution as a negative deviation, because in the graph you can see there is a depression. A doesn't want to leave B. Water does not allow acid to evaporate. Acid does not allow water to evaporate. Now both the evaporations have decreased. Since there is a decrease in the evaporation, you can see there is a depression in the graph. There is a decrease in the graph like this from the expected. The straight line is the actual expectation, but there is a curved line which has a depression, which is decreased, and therefore we call this solution as a negative deviation solution. I hope you all understood what is ideal solution, what is non-ideal solution, positive, non-ideal solution, negative deviations. The differences between these three, examples for these three, what are the consequences of these effects, all these things we will see in our next video. Thank you very much for watching.